You ever wake up and just not give a damn? Like, not in a peaceful monk way, not in a finding your center kind of vibe, but in a burnt toast, no clean socks, phone on 3%, still watching your ex's story, and somehow you feel personally attacked by a muffin kind of way. That kind of not caring. And I'm not here to sell you a journal or tell you to deep breathe your way out of a quarter life meltdown. I'm here to say, maybe that's not a crisis. Maybe that's the beginning. See, everybody talks about letting go, like it's this magical, floaty thing you do after a yoga class. Nah, letting go feels like tripping down the stairs in public and pretending you meant to do it. It's chaotic, it's uncomfortable. But at some point, you gotta stop clinging to stuff like it's oxygen. You gotta drop the weight before it drops you. You've been trying so hard to be okay, haven't you? Holding it together with caffeine and playlists, laughing in the group chats while your soul's in the ICU, saying I'm fine when you're hanging on by a thread made of sleep deprivation and passive-aggressive emails. You've been trying to convince everyone you're all right. But when was the last time you convinced you? And look, I get it. We were trained from childhood to care about everything: grades, body image, social status, whether someone from high school thinks our job is cool, whether we sound too much when we talk about things we love, whether we're falling behind some imaginary timeline. Behind who? Behind what? Here's the truth. Most people don't care as much as you think they do. And I don't say that to be harsh. I say that to set you free. Because the moment you stop performing for an audience that isn't even paying attention, that's the moment you actually live. The moment you breathe without checking if it's cool first. Half of your stress? It's not even real. It's just you arguing with your own expectations. It's not life dragging you. It's that inner voice yelling, "We should be further by now." And that voice is kind of a jerk. It doesn't care that you're tired. It doesn't care that you're healing from something no one even knows about. That voice only wants gold stars, not peace. So here's the plot twist. Stop trying to be who you think people want. Start being who you actually are when no one's watching. That version of you that laughs too loud, that cries during commercials, that gets deeply emotionally attached to fictional characters. That version, that's the one worth showing up for. Because caring about the wrong stuff is eating you alive. You're losing sleep over messages that never came. You're pouring your energy into people who wouldn't even notice if you disappeared. You're exhausting yourself trying to be palatable, professional, perfect. For who? For what? You don't have to earn your right to exist by overachieving every hour of the day. You're allowed to leave texts unread. You're allowed to say no without writing an essay. You're allowed to choose yourself, protect your peace, and guard your energy like it's sacred. Because it is. And yeah, some people might not like that. They might call you distant or difficult. Let them. That's not your circus anymore. Some people think not caring means not feeling. Nah. It means feeling deeply, but only for what actually matters. It means stop giving energy to what drains you and start feeding what heals you. It means walking away from rooms that feel like war zones in your spirit. Some of y'all are dragging baggage from people who left years ago. Let it go. Pack light. And shame? Oh, shame is a sneaky little liar. That weight in your chest that tells you you're not enough? That loop in your head that replays every awkward moment like a horror film? Most of it isn't even yours. You picked it up from parents, from bullies, from toxic friends, from a culture that sells you flaws and then profits from your insecurity. That shame? Return to sender. You were never too sensitive, never too weird, never too loud. You were just surrounded by people who didn't have the range to handle your depth. That's on them. Stop shrinking to make others comfortable. You're not meant to fit into places you've outgrown. And look, I know. It's easy to say, stop caring, when you've still got bills piling up like they're trying to win a contest, when your heart's been shattered into puzzle pieces you're too tired to put back together, when people depend on you and you can't even remember the last time you depended on you. I'm not telling you to pull a disappearing act. quit your job, and run off to Bali with a man bun and a vision board. I'm not saying delete your whole life and start fresh like it's a TikTok recipe. That's not healing, that's escapism with a tan. I'm saying wake up inside your actual life. The messy one, the loud one, the one you kind of hate sometimes but still secretly hope gets better. Wake up there, inside the reality you've been trying to survive in autopilot. Because freedom isn't in the reset, it's in the reclaiming. It's in choosing yourself without burning everything to the ground. It's looking around at your life, the one full of 3-day laundry piles and unread emails and feelings you still don't have words for, and saying, I'm still worthy. I still matter. Even when I'm tired, even when I'm not inspiring or productive or trending, I matter. You don't need a new city to stop hiding. You don't need a six-pack and a skincare routine to feel lovable. You don't need everyone to understand you. Hell, most people barely understand themselves. You just need you to come home to yourself. That's it. That's the whole mission. Stop abandoning yourself every time someone else disapproves. Stop shrinking to fit expectations that were never built for your size. Stop outsourcing your joy like it's on back order from someone else's opinion. And some of you, let's be real, are holding on to people who have already emotionally clocked out. They left the group project, but you're still carrying their part, like it's your responsibility to finish it for both of you. You're trying to build castles out of texts with no replies. You're falling in love with potential, not reality. You're loving their possibility, not their presence. But here's the thing. If they wanted to show up, they would have. If they wanted to love you out loud, they wouldn't have kept you in silence. If they cared like you cared, you wouldn't be sitting here confused and exhausted. Let that be enough. Don't make their absence your fault. Don't turn their silence into a project. And some of you, yeah, I see you, you're hiding. Not because you're broken, not because you're weak, but because the last time you showed up as your full self, somebody didn't know how to handle it. So you learn to dim. You learn to smile small. You learn to be quiet, agreeable, low maintenance. You built a personality around what made others comfortable. And now, you don't recognize yourself without the mask. But here's the truth. You don't need to earn your softness. You don't need to defend your complexity. You're allowed to take up space. You're allowed to be inconvenient. You're allowed to be a full human being and not just a highlight reel. You don't have to keep pretending. You don't have to keep pushing when your body is begging for stillness. You don't have to keep it together just so other people won't worry. You're not a burden. You're not a mess. You're a person. And people get tired. People break. People feel deeply and need deeply. And none of that makes you wrong. You don't have to care about being the best anymore. The best at what? Being palatable? Being perfect? Being unbothered when you're clearly bothered? You don't have to be the funniest, the most organized, the one who never complains, the one who always keeps it together while falling apart in private. That's not strength. That's survival. And you deserve more than just surviving. Nobody's got it all figured out. Even the people who look like they do are just better at curating their chaos. Everyone's winging it. Everyone's Googling how to be okay at 2 a.m. Everyone's trying not to spiral when they hear a certain song in public. You're not behind. You're becoming. You're not failing. You're feeling. You're not late. You're learning. So maybe this is your sign. Not to grind harder, not to finally fix yourself, but to rest, to breathe, to forgive yourself for all the times you didn't know better, to look at your reflection and stop wincing, to let go of the idea that you have to earn peace by suffering first. You don't. You're allowed to be soft now. You're allowed to be whole before you're done healing. Start caring less about who unfollowed you and more about how you speak to yourself. Care less about if your life looks cool and more about if it feels right. Care less about appearing strong and more about being honest. Care less about being ahead and more about being here. That's the shift. That's the move. That's the freedom. Not caring recklessly, but caring intentionally. About your peace, your boundaries, your joy, your nervous system, your growth, your story, your worth